Are you ready?
I was born ready.
What's up, everybody? Welcome in to episode 37 of the Stock Guy and Alex Show, the return show, the podcast that covers. Yeah, this is the return show, bro. The podcast that covers topics around the world. We got business, we got news, markets, money, sports. We might be talking Stockies Jags here in a second because we were just talking about it before we were recording.
Just stop.
Guys, when people talk about it, so do we. The Stock Guy and Alex Show can be watched, listened, and viewed on YouTube and Spotify. It'll also be soon to be downloaded and listened to everywhere else that podcasts are downloaded.
Haven't we been saying that for like 2 years?
I like it at this point. I like it. I was just like leaning into it. And guys, follow the show on all the socials. What's up, dude? Great to see you. Guys, we haven't recorded in like a month.
A month?
Month and a
like
half.
2 months.
No, it's been a month and a half.
But that last recording didn't make it up, and then we had
No, it did make it
the
up.
one with Lexi or Smexy didn't make it either.
Yeah, there was a couple lost episodes in there. Guys, everyone, thank you all for being here. It's the first one in a month and a half. Life just got kind of crazy. I have a 4-month-old and also a coffee company. And Stocky's been too busy working out. Since the last time you saw him, he just looks too good now, bro. So just
What are you talking about? I feel like hell.
You feel like hell. What's going on, by the way? What's going on with the? You didn't actually tell me. You mentioned it.
I got some stress going on. Nothing. But no. What I was saying is,
you got about the stress.
You've got a 4-month-old and you've got a coffee company, and I'm like, man, and you are. You know, I got a 2-year-old in 14 days. 2 weeks from today is her second birthday, so I got a 2-year-old and another one on the way, and a stream and a bunch of other stuff. So I tell my stream.
Not just any stream. You got the #1 finance and stock show on Twitch.tv. That's a big responsibility. That's not just any stream.
Yes, now whatever. But the thing is that we've got all this going on. I totally forgot what I was going to say.
You were I was actually going to bring up.
I just blacked out.
Yeah, you thought I was going to bring up something we were talking about before recording. What I was going to say is you didn't tell me about how you got scammed by your boxing instructor. You didn't tell me.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I got a headline. I didn't get the details.
First of all, everyone thinks I'm insane. I opened up to my stream about like how much money I spend, right? And I told them, I said, my expenses are around $12,000 a month, and they fucking lost their mind. And I was like, well, you have to understand, a few years ago, my expenses were like $3,000 a month. I'm living within my means. I make more now. I said, but the big 2 expenses from that are the nanny, which I have to pay in order to work. So that's a huge ROI. And I said, I've been hiring personal trainers. I have 4 days a week where I hire personal trainers, an hour each time. It's $100 an hour. So I had to justify to my wife, well, I'm spending $25,000 a year to have people kick my ass, right? I was like, I could, if I wanted somebody to kick my ass for money, I could just hire a dominatrix to step on my nuts or something. But it's a different
Don't tell your wife
impact.
that.
I don't know. She steps on him all the time, proverbially, but regardless,
she does. She doesn't want a hiree to do that.
Exactly, but I want to do it and I would enjoy it. Not that I would. Whatever. Moving on. So I found this calisthenics guy, and he's been kicking my ass, and the whole reason I started up was my joints and everything, and I've been feeling better. And I was like, you know what? I want to do something high intensity. I want to do some cardio, but I'm not a runner or a swimmer. Fuck that. It's boring. I said I want to do boxing. So I was looking around. I found a boxing coach. Guy had a thing. Whatever. We do it. Guy's a bit intense. Not quite clicking like I do with my other guy, but I'm like, that's okay. He does martial arts and stuff. Kicks my ass. We're going for it, right? Everything's fine. He's like, all right, it's $100 and something. So I pay him for 4 sessions, right? With 1 free just because it's his first sign up, right? So we do 2 of them. And then I get this random, I go to the gym to meet him, and he's like, I'm going to be late because there's traffic or something. I'm like, okay. And then I'm there and I'm talking to the people at the front thing. And then he says, I don't think I'm going to make it. I was like, okay. But earlier that day, he's like, at 1 o'clock, he was like, hey, listen, I got this thing going on. I'm trying to lock in my schedule for the holidays. I'm going to offer you, 2 months at $250. I'm like, that's like $27 a session. I usually pay $100. I'm like, that seems weird. He's like, but I need to know by the end of the day. And I'm like, all right, I'll talk to my wife and get to you. So I never got to talk to my wife about it. I end up, going to the gym, and then he's like, oh, I can't make it. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. He's like, but I need to know about this. Are you going to be able to do this? I was like, Bro, I'm thinking to myself, you didn't show up to this lesson and you want me to pay you 2 months in advance at a really discounted rate, but like right now. Like what's going on? Like something doesn't seem right. Like I've been around the block a few times. I know something's not right here. So I'm not doing a good job telling the story right now because I'm thinking of something else, but I'm just trying to paint the picture for you, right? So the guy's like all day, he's like, I need you to do this. He'd tell me, call me, whatever. All right. So I tell him, I said, all right, let me get home. I said, I guess I'll do it. You know, I'll pay for it. $250 for 2 months or whatever, no problem. So I was like, all right, I'll do it when I get home. So I stop at the grocery store, and as I'm almost way home, he sends this message, very passive aggressive, and he's like, I've been very patient, understanding with your situation and stuff like this, but I need to know immediately. I need to know right now if you're going to be doing this or not. I've been very patient. And I'm thinking to myself, first of all, who the fuck talks to somebody like that?
You're in South Florida is what's going on. That's how they operate in South Florida, bro.
No,
it's
I understand
a hustle.
that, but I'm like, this is a hustle, right? Like I know the hustle, right? Like I know this hustle. You're not gonna like give me this massive discount, but you want me to pay up front the same day you're pressuring me to do this that you didn't even show up for my paid lesson of whatever. Like how do you do that? What kind of business doesn't provide a service and then is like pressuring you to pay for more services? So I'm like, something doesn't seem right. So finally I was like, you know what? I'm going to pay the guy, right? I'm going to pay the guy the $250 because here's my thought process. I'm like, okay, either A, I get a really cheap thing. He's in a bind. He needs money. He needs whatever. Or B, he fucks me over. I charge it back. Either way, I'm good to go. Then I get a screenshot. Did I show you the screenshot?
No.
So then I get a screenshot from the guy. Okay,
what do you mean you get a screenshot from him? You get a text?
He sends me a screenshot. He's texting me a screenshot of his like Zelle or his Cash App or whatever of like saying, hey, look, here's proof that I requested the payment because obviously on Zelle and stuff you have to authorize it. And there's like 3 chicks, like tattooed girl. They look like escorts, right? Like I'm like, does this dude owe some people some money?
Or is like his background?
No, he takes a picture of the request to me, but it shows recent requests, and it's these pictures of these girls, and I'm like, oh shit, son, like maybe my man's into something, like, but that's none of my business, right? So whatever.
I don't know.
So,
you want you wanted the nut kicking thing happening.
Whatever. So I pay it. So then the next day, I text him and I say, hey, I sent the payment. We're still good to go for the workout the next day, right? Get nothing. So I'm like, wait a second. So then the next day, the day of, like, are we working out today? Nothing. So I go, I got fucking scammed. I'm like, I got fucking scammed. I said, no big deal, right? So I call up the bank. I'm like, hey, listen, I got scammed. I need to get my money back. And she goes, how'd you pay? I said, through Zelle, through Chase, right? And I'm a preferred client or whatever. She goes, well, you actually paid through Zelle and you authorized the transaction before it went through. You can't charge that back.
Why can't you charge that back? What's Zelle?
Because Zelle is.
I mean, I know, but I know Zelle, but like, what makes Zelle different than the other ones?
Because it's not like a credit card where somebody charges your credit card for a service you didn't get, and you're like, "Hey, I didn't accept this charge, or I didn't do this." So they debited it. You actually, literally, you have to authorize the transaction before it goes through.
So did it function as like a debit from your account?
Yeah, it's debited out of your account, but you authorize it ahead of time. So I was like, "Oh shit, I'm fucked." So then I go to this other boxing gym, right? Like a legit gym, not a person. And I'm like, I need to hire somebody. He's like, okay, cool. So we get going and everything. I hire the guy. I pay the guy for four weeks in a row, right? At like 100 something a pop. And because it's a gym, it's not like a random person. So I'm like, I got scammed. Fuck it, whatever, like that. Dude texts me the next day. Sorry, I left my phone in the Uber that night.
So hold on. So you didn't get scammed?
No, I thought I got scammed. Okay. 4 days of being pissed about it. Turns out I didn't get scammed. Then I tell the dude what the fuck was up. And he's like, man, I got bills to pay too. You know, so I'm like, yeah, but you don't do shit like that. But now the problem is I've got this guy, plus I'm paying for another guy, and I'm already old as shit. And I'm already doing all this workout. I'm already dead to fucking dying every day. And now I'm going to have to do fucking 5 days a week of this shit.
Why?
Because I've already paid for it. Because I paid for it.
So you're working out 5 days a week right now?
5 days a week. I've got a professional calisthenics trainer. I've got 2 boxing trainers, and I've got a strength and conditioning trainer.
But how you feeling right now about it? Like, how's your body feeling? Man, that's what I'm talking about. Stocky looking good right now, bro.
I am so sore and so painful. It is just killing me. Like, you can even tell that I'm not my normal self right now. Like, normally I'm way more like telling the story. I'm in it right now, but I'm just like zoned out.
Are your in-laws living with you indefinitely right now?
No, they're gonna be here till the newborns, the new baby's here.
Oh, until then, and then they're gonna stay around for a little while, and then they plan on probably going back.
We don't know. I don't really. I've kind of like reclused myself a little bit just because there's just so much going on, and My day starts at 5:30 a.m., ends at 12:30, 1 a.m. There's no breaks in between. And it's just a blur to me right now. And I'm just like, you know what I mean? And like, there's a lot of other little things that are going on right now. And I feel so overwhelmed that like, you know, like where you know, that thing where like you're so overwhelmed for so long and you haven't slept and it's just nonstop, just that like, there's like a little thing in your head one day that starts going, hey, I'm about to burst. I'm about to burst.
Oh, God.
I'm about to burst.
Wait, so was that today? Was that today?
Dude, I had to get in the car and go. I had to get in the car
Where'd
and go.
you go?
I had to get in the car to go. I just got in the car. I drove around the block, parked in a parking lot, and I just watched something that I was like doing whatever, and I had to just disappear for like 5 minutes because I was like inside, you know what I mean? Like that, like Joker level shit.
Well, bro, I mean, listen, I mean, you got a kid and you got another one on the way, and
Jesus, that was the worst story I've ever told. And I usually am like looking at my stories when I tell them like, yeah, that was an awesome story. Right now, I don't even remember what I said. Like,
it's all right, man. Listen,
like normally it's just coming out. Like I was having to think about it the whole time.
Bro, I tracked with that the whole way. And at the end of the day, you didn't actually get scammed. It was an almost scam moment. And it would not be the first, you know, probably private gym hustle that scammed someone in South Florida.
It wasn't a private gym. It was a guy I hired off his app
personal
called
trainer,
Thumbtack.
whatever. Like personal trainer, you know, scam that happened in South Florida. South Florida's a hustle, man. You live in a hustle, in and around it. So you got to always
hear the most Florida thing ever?
Yeah.
Let me tell you the most Florida thing ever that happened to me, and I was completely oblivious. I told this story at the end of my stream, and I did it perfectly because it was in the moment, but I'm going to retell it, right?
Yeah.
So we go up to Melbourne for Thanksgiving to see my grandparents, okay? We're on the way back, and as we're packing up and we're going out, my in-laws, my wife and the baby are sitting there and like, hey, can we go stop at a Hindu temple to kind of pray, right? Like they want to do their prayer thing. And I'm like, you know what? That's fine. I'm not a religious person. I'm definitely not a Hindu, but you know what? I'm supportive of my family, and I'm like, I'll be there for you. So I find one. We go to this little off the beaten path one near the water. We park. We go in the parking lot. I'm the only vehicle there, right? So I park my big SUV in there, and everybody gets out, and I get the baby out, and we start walking. There's some idols out there, and we go in. There's a glass door, and there's like a foyer, and there's like a temple, right? There's like people, one lady or old guy singing in there, chanting, and we go into all the idols, and everybody's like doing their little prayers and stuff like that, and that's cool. But the baby's not like into it, right? So I'm like, let me go change her diaper. You guys do your thing. So I go out to the car and, you know, I'm like, all right, cool. So I change the baby's diaper. I put her in her seat. I give her milk. I give her a little book to read her like that. And then I come around and I'm like, all right, let me watch to see when the family's coming out. So I'm in my GMC in this parking lot alone. And I shaved my beard last night. I have the full fucking veteran beard. I have a black hat on. I have a black shirt on. I have black shorts on, black sneakers on. And I'm sitting in a GMC and I'm sitting there like this with the door open, staring at the front door. No problem. All of a sudden, this little tiny old guy, little old Indian guy with a turban because he's Sikh, comes around the corner. He's carrying like a little potluck thing. And he makes eye contact with me and he just stops and stares. And I look at him and he's looking at me. And I'm not thinking anything of it, right? Because I'm just seeing this guy at the temple. My family's in there doing their thing. And he just stops and stares. And I didn't know what I was doing. I was trying to be polite. And I just looked at him and I kind of like that with my hat, staring at him right away. He immediately makes a left turn, shuffles to the front door, quickly goes inside, and like kind of goes inside the temple area. And I'm kind of looking for my family, and I see this him. He's got his glasses, little small guy. He keeps peeking over the side. I'm like, okay, whatever. My family starts walking out, and he stops them. I can see through the glass doors. He stops them and points to me. And I'm like, does he know us or something like that? And they're talking, and then it hit me.
He's warning them.
It hit me.
He's warning them. He's saying, don't go outside.
My man is looking at it a different perspective than I am. He's wearing a turban. A lot of people misunderstand him for Muslims, right? Like there's that whole thing that happened after 9/11. Like a lot of Sikh people that were confused, right? And people were like, "Oh, you're a Muslim. You got to," because there was a lot of Muslim and Islamic things that happened after 9/11. And you know what happened with Christtown in New Zealand, everything like that. So he comes around the corner from his perspective. There's this white dude by himself in the parking lot in a GMC, black hat, beard, black shirt, black pants, and they're just staring at him. Just staring at the front door.
You gave him a nod, bro. You gave him a nod.
And I gave him that nod, which he probably took as, I see you, boy.
Oh, God, bro. Yeah, you're looking sketch as fuck, bro, in that moment.
Sketch as fuck. He's warning my family that there's a possible like white supremacist out there about to blow them away.
Did your wife say...
The worst part was I actually had my AR-15 in the car at the time.
Yeah, but he didn't know that.
No, but
No,
I
you didn't know
thought
that.
about this on the way back. Like it was in the because I would shoot in the weekend before. It was in the car under the compartment.
You know, the funniest end of that story is if the guy said to your wife and to your family, "Don't go out there. There's a sketchy guy out there." And if she would have said, "Oh my God, you're right. Can you take us home? Can you get us home safely?" Like if she would have just played the fuck into that bit, that would have been
because she was just as confused as me because she's not looking at me that way. That's her hubby. That's her father of her kids. That's her husband. Like she doesn't see.
I know, but I'm saying that if she would have realized what was happening fast and played into it.
Imagine they called the cops.
Yeah, bro, that's pretty sketchy, man.
Although here's the thing about Florida. This is why I said it's a Florida story. Cops wouldn't have done anything. Everything I was doing was perfectly legal.
Well, you were just chilling, dog. I mean, yeah, you were chilling. You at the end of the day, you were just chilling. And hey, man, I always be vigilant and looking out for danger. You know what I mean? I don't care where you are. Always be vigilant. Always be looking out. It's smart. It's smart.
I'm so out of it.
You know what I mean? It's always. I'm not saying you're dangerous.
I tell my wife all the time too. I'm like, listen, whenever I pull up, whenever I cut across traffic, even if I don't cut somebody off and they pull in behind me, I always leave a extra car space at the light in case that person wants to get out and do some shit. Like I give myself an out, right? Like I'm always being that situational awareness thing. You just never know when some shit's going to go down. And, I ain't going to get involved and I don't want to be involved in some shit, but I'm going to make sure I have my exit. Speaking of something else, my ADHD's kicking in, even though I'm completely running on fumes here. I just remembered a year ago when we did a podcast at this time, we were talking about Christmas lights and the appropriate time for Christmas music and Christmas lights.
Yeah, we already have our tree up. We've already been listening to Christmas music.
Of course we have.
In fact, the tree was up before Thanksgiving.
I set a record for removal of my Christmas tree this past year.
Removal you mean the past year?
Yeah.
You took it down. You took it down on Christmas Day.
No. 3 years ago, it was up in the house until August. It was dead, and I had to take it out. Like I left it for 6 or 8 months. Like I just didn't know what to do. Then we took it out in June. Last year, the nanny in March was like, "It's fucking Easter," and took it out herself. So set a record for how long I got out there. But I did set up the lights.
Can we see them?
I set up the lights last week.
Can you?
They're outside.
I know, but like, are there? There we go. We're seeing some.
That's just one of the bushes. But
I know, but
we
get to see some of them, bro.
Remember? I think I don't know if I did it on stream or on tape. But remember, I told you the whole story of how you become that guy in the neighborhood with the lights.
Yeah.
Okay. There's
tell
that
it
one
again,
guy.
though. You should tell it again, though. Yeah, you should tell it again.
Jesus Christ! This is a monologue podcast. All right. So basically, what happens is you've got that you move into a neighborhood and there's three types of people when it comes to Christmas. You got the people who are minimalistic, they do nothing or they just put a wreath on and a candle, that's it. Then you got the family guy who's like, I got the tree, I got a couple lights maybe around the edge of the roof, and maybe a blow up in the yard, just kind of like I'm festive, but like that's my limit, right? Then there's the guy who just goes all out, like it's like fucking Clark Griswold bullshit, right? And the thing is when you move in and you've got a family or you got a wife especially, you're the minimalistic guy or you're the normal guy. But then as you're walking by, she looks at it, she's like, "Oh, that's so nice, it's so beautiful, oh, I love it." She just kind of throws those hints out there. Our fucking problem was it was the guy directly across the street from us when we moved in. Like we had to stare at a guy with the fucking Santa going up and down the chimney and the goddamn sleigh and the music and everything. I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right. So every year I added a little bit more and a little bit more. He moved out, right? Then some other guy was that, and you keep adding it. Eventually, you become that guy. And this year for Halloween, I was 100% that guy. People were stopping and taking pictures, and now it's Christmas. Not only the first year, I didn't put up any lights on the house, right? Like it was just some inflatable shit. Second year, put some lights around the house. Third year, inflatable shit, lights around the house, something around the door. This year, I have lights. It looks like a gingerbread house. I've got bands of lights on the roof. I've got lights around all the trees. I've got lights in the front. I've got it's insane. It's insane. And it's just going to get more and more because my little daughter loves that shit. And it melts me every time she goes, "Oh, so many lights."
Well, you primed them with Halloween. How was that? You said Halloween. How big? What did you do for Halloween? Did you have like a big?
Oh, I should send you a picture, dude. I went. I mean, I had the 15-foot tall Jack Frost hand moving blow up. I had the ghosts with the
Jack
around
Frost.
the fire.
You mean like Jack Skellington?
I'm sorry, Jack Skellington. Yeah, with the thing, right? Then I had these 4-foot tall tombstones all around the yard. I had a life-size skeleton that was up against a tree with the red eyes. Mm-hmm. Then I had the spider webs everywhere. I had the orange lights everywhere, and I had a Bluetooth out there playing scary fucking music. And I had a smoke machine and a bubble machine.
And how was the candy? What was the quality of the candy that you were giving out? Please tell me it wasn't that whatever bag of weeb candy that you had the other day. Oh my god!
I got it for that, but I didn't give it out. No, we actually went pretty basic but good. We gave out like I told my wife, I said, here's the problem with great decorations come great responsibility. If you're gonna be that house, everyone expects good candy, right?
Right. That's what I'm asking.
We did the whole walk, so I left the good candy in the bowl. But here's the problem. We had some kids from other neighborhoods, obviously not around here. And here's my thing. If you come from a neighborhood that doesn't have a lot of candy or it's not a great neighborhood or like that, listen, come trick or treat in my neighborhood. I am all about it. I want to share with the world because everybody always buys too much candy anyways. But people were coming in cars, opening up the doors. Everyone was running to the houses, dumping the entire bowls in their bags and taking off.
Why?
So I left a giant because that's just what they do. I don't know why people decide to do that.
But they came stealing candy?
Like, here's my thing. If you're a big kid or you're from a neighborhood or you whatever, and that's your thing, cool. Do it at 10 p.m. when all the kids are out there.
Yeah.
I don't care. That's the candy we leave out there. They're coming around at 6:30 and dumping bowls and bags and driving off.
You mean bowls for people that are not handing out candy? The people that
For example, we took our daughter walking, so while we were out, we put a big bowl of candy, thinking by the time we get back, it'll be half full. We came back, gone.
Here's what I want to do. Here's what I want to do for a future Halloween. At some point in my life, I'm going to do this, and I'll probably make a YouTube video out of it. I don't know. I want to, how when you go to like Publix or you go to like maybe Sam's Club or you go to Walmart, whatever, they have a pallet drop like in the middle of the front aisle, and it's like a big like it's holding all the bags of candy, all like the $20 like variety bags of candy, and you get a bag of candy, it's got like 150 pieces in it or whatever, and like it's got all the different things like Crackle and I don't know Nestle's Crunch and Milk Duds, you know what I mean? Like it's got all the things in it. Well,
I roasted for my candy, and your shit's even worse.
Whatever. And I'm saying what's at the store. Like it's got Butterfinger, it's got all the little things in it. It's got a big
variety
assortment.
pack. Yeah.
But it's a pallet drop of all like it's holding all the bags. I want to get the pallet. I want to buy the whole pallet, and then I want at the front door. I want when people come to trick or treat, I want to be able to put the entire variety bag into their little pumpkin or whatever they have. To me, that would be pinnacle. The decorations don't need any decorations. I just want to I want to see the expression on the kid's face when you give them the entire variety bag of candy. You would be the champion.
Can I tell you a way that would be much cheaper and actually much more fun for them?
Yeah, what is it?
Okay. Balloons. Get a big piece of wood, right? A big flat piece of wood, put it up against the wall, take balloons. As you blow up the balloons, put pieces of candy in there, blow them up, tie them up, tape them to it. Give them darts. Make it one of those carnival games. They throw it, whichever one they pop open, candy falls out. And they're like, it's the greatest fucking experience. They're going to remember. It doesn't matter if they get the worst candy in the world. They're going to remember your house more than anybody. Just came to my head.
You think making them work for it is for a little piece of Butterfinger is better than...
It's not work. That's awesome. It's fun.
Yeah, it might. For half of them, I think it's fun. The other half are seeing, man, not only do I have to have
you tell me one kid who's not going to love a carnival game that gives them candy guaranteed.
Are you the type of house that when the kid shows up and they say trick or treat, you say trick and you make them tell you a joke?
Fuck no. I want them out of I want them to get their candy and get the fuck on. I don't want to spend all day in my yard.
Do darts and stuff.
I was saying, if you're going to go through fucking buying, Modern Warfare goddamn pallet drops of candy, why not spend less money and make it more fun?
I want a pallet drop because I'm not worried about I want to spend to make those kids Halloween that special and memorable. And they went to the house and they gave them a big, huge, massive bag of that variety pack candy, and they got all of it there. And then, they'd go to all their friends. They'd be like, yo, you got to go to that house. You got to go get as many bags of candy as you can.
Nobody has friends.
You say nobody has friends?
Nobody has friends.
Why?
When's the last time you saw kids play with the other neighborhood kids?
Are you saying that's what happened after COVID?
I'm saying that's what happened after the internet, man.
You say after COVID, all of a sudden now everyone has to do a Zoom trick or treat, and their parents have to walk around and zooming them on their phone.
No, but man, every year, man, there's less and less kids.
What, like running around the neighborhood?
Yeah, man, it's just it's not the thing. Like somebody was like, "Oh, they're all going to the church right now," and I was like, "Well, that's weird," but like it just doesn't. Like this year, there's a little bit more because we had a bunch of young people move in with families and shit. But like, it's just less and less people out. Like my wife was asking me the other day. She's like, "What do you do when somebody comes and shows up and knocks on your door, like to come say hi, without calling or texting first?" I was like, that's concerning. Like, I automatically think that person wants to hurt me or something. Like, why would you not? Like, nobody wants fucking. It's true. I mean, think about it. Do you really want somebody to just come knock on your door to say hi?
That's
Now,
the
in the
Sebastian
90s,
Maniscalco.
yes.
That's the Sebastian Maniscalco bit. And I think we've talked about that before. Remember where?
No, he talks about the company. I'm not
We
talking
have
about
company,
the actual
come on in.
happiness of it. I'm not the
Have
happiness of
some
it.
pie.
I'm talking about like people like text, I'm coming over, or are you cool if you're coming over? Like, but we didn't have that in the past. So
Yeah.
now it's just such a weird thing. But now that we have the ability to see each other more often without having to worry about that, we see each other less.
Yeah, people the pop in, man. People don't do the pop in, but that's different when you're a kid.
I
remember
would be upset too. Also, I'd be like, why the fuck didn't you text me first?
It's way different when you're a kid, because obviously adults, everybody has the ability to text and communicate and make plans. But as a kid, you're not making any plans. You don't know what the hell you're doing on any day. All you just think about in some moment is like, oh, I'm gonna go play with Johnny down the street. Let me go knock on Johnny's door, ask his parents.
Nobody
if he can come
knows
out
Johnny anymore.
But
how would you know Johnny unless you go to school with them?
So a couple things. We don't live in a neighborhood. We live out in the middle of the woods. Like it's
because you're rich. We got it.
Yeah, because it's a house in the woods is rich. So we live.
You have acres of land. Shut up. Let's go.
No, I don't have acres of land. It's under the. But whatever. Okay. So
exactly.
We're out here in the middle of the woods, and I have a 4-month-old. So I'm not in a neighborhood right now, and the kid's not old enough to be running around the neighborhood and stuff. But what I'm thinking about is in the future. I'm like, man, when I grew up, I remember being 9. And remember, I know all the people in the neighborhood. I remember there was a set of twins, like John and Kevin. I would go knock on their doors, see if they wanted to play. There was some other kids over here, another kid named John. I'd be like, hey, does this kid want to play? I remember being 9 and just walking around the neighborhood and being like, who wants to play with me right now? I'll knock on some doors, and then maybe some kids come out and we start playing, I don't know, roller hockey or football or something like that. Like, or not roller hockey, but like street hockey. You know what I mean? Like you're running around.
Last time you saw people play street hockey?
I haven't seen it probably since I was a kid.
I've never seen it, and as an adult.
But like you played it as a kid, right? You're running around. You don't have skates, but you're running around with the stick.
I lived in a foster home and a children's home. No, I didn't do that.
But I mean, it's all you need is a stick and anything. You don't even need a puck.
Exactly,
you
but you don't do it.
Ball.
Why would you do that? It's like, hey, let's play Fortnite together. Maybe that's some communication.
Yeah, but I don't want that for my 4-month-old, bro. I like for Ozzy when he gets older.
And one of the biggest fucking problems, or one of the biggest like contentions I'm having with the family is we made a deal. No tablet baby, no TV baby, right? Like that's not going to be a thing. Like when she eats her dinner, she can watch or something like that, but that's it. Other than that, she's got to be engaged. And it's tough to do that because it's like you have lives to live, right? Like you have a kid, but you got everybody's working, everybody's got house to clean and cooking and all this other shit. Like you don't have time to be engaging all the time. But it's like we've got to stick to this, and we did it very, very well. And she never wanted to watch TV. She never cared about it like that. Then over the past couple months, when shit really hit the fan, it's like, all right, you know what? Let's let her look at the tablet a little bit because she's teething, she's cranky at night. Let's let her go to bed. Now she starts screaming for it. I'm telling everybody, stop giving it to her. And when she cries, don't give it to her because then you're just reinforcing it. And so it's like Jesus Christ, she's still not that kid. Like I had her all night last night after I got back from my workout. I had her she cooked with me. I played with her. I put her to bed and everything. And we didn't pick up a phone or a TV once. Like it was just that. But man, it's tough because it's so easy when you don't have kids to look at people and judge them and say, hey, oh, well, you shouldn't let them be a tablet kid. You're just using that as a supplement babysitter, stuff like that. Like you're all hoity-toity. But then when you become a parent, you've got shit to do and there's a kid going crazy, you start thinking to yourself, I get it a little,
There's
you may not
nobody's
do it, but
opinions.
you get it.
There's nobody's opinion that you should disqualify faster than some peer in your life, some friend or whatever who doesn't have kids that tries to impart some sort of parenting advice. There is nobody's opinion that you should just dismiss
I'm not saying
right
that you
away.
listen to it. I'm saying that like when you were before you had kids and you heard about that, like it was easy to judge people for that shit. But then you kind of like
I get what you mean. I get what you mean. Stuff before kids, and then you take it into parenthood. And is it practical? Can you actually?
Like I promised myself I would make all her meals when she was a kid. I did that, but it was not easy. I had to go to the farmer's market, go get fresh, organic fruits and vegetables. Then I had to chop them up. I had to boil them. Then I had to blend them, and I had to make sure I knew the right temp or the right flavor combos, not to put sugar, this, and feed her. And that's what I did. Every single one of her meals until she started eating solid food was homemade shit that I made. I never bought baby food.
That's noble. That's definitely noble. All of these are noble pursuits.
But it was tough.
Yeah, no, but we had some like friends of friends. We heard this story. It was friends of some of our close friends said that they were trying to do only the cloth diapers where it was.
Oh, I know. Fuck that.
You know,
that's
like
disgusting, dude.
like
I'm not gonna have some shit-stained fucking towel sitting around my house.
Yeah, and they said that they undid that like within like a week or whatever. They went for the easy diapers, bro. The easy diapers are just like there's too many.
Well, we bought a crib. She refused to. She didn't like the crib, and you know, they're you know, the Indian family. They're like, oh, it's torture to put a kid to crib by themselves. You're supposed to co-sleep with them. I'm like, we have a fucking $400 crib that we've never used. It's just a storage bin. We got the Mamaru thing. She hated that. It was like, what the hell?
Did your kid and before this just becomes a parenting podcast? Did your kid take to sleeping?
If anybody actually watches this in comments, let us know your favorite part of this podcast for the whole time, so we know what you guys like to listen to.
Yeah, exactly. More. Tell us more. What's up? Because sometimes we just talk about world like news articles. We don't do a lot of talking about our lives and stuff. And this one's been only talking about our lives. Again, this is the comeback.
I think it's more interesting.
Yeah, it could be.
You can get news anywhere.
It could be. Speaking of news,
it's like two buddies catching up.
Speaking of news, what the hell is even going on in the world right now that's relevant? I feel like we're in the middle of a low.
Why would you? We're in the middle of a conversation.
Yeah, but what is going on in the world right now? What is the biggest headline even right now? I feel like there's
railroad strike, which that was fucked up. What they did to the railroad workers, whether you believe in unions or not, that was fucked up. You've got China and the COVID lockdowns, and people they welded people in the apartments, and the apartment caught on fire. Nobody could get in or out. They all died. Then the protests happened. They're calling for Xi to step down. You got Russia still going after the whole Ukraine thing. You got inflation report coming out. You got the elections that just happened. You got Kanye fucking going nuts.
Here's how I know we're in the middle of a dead period of the news cycle, because I just pulled up CNN.com and it's a picture of Trump is the biggest thing, and their biggest story right now is something to do with Trump. Like, bro, it's 2022.
Tomorrow it'll be Kanye saying that he thinks Hitler was a good guy.
Dude, didn't he say that today?
Yeah, apparently he was on the InfoWars and said the Holocaust didn't really happen and Hitler wasn't a bad guy and I liked him or something. And even Alex Jones was like, I know you're just trying to be sensationalist for the day. And he's like, no, I believe this. And even Alex Jones was like, oh shit.
Bro, I thought Alex Jones got canceled, by the way. I didn't know Alex
You can't get canceled unless you allow yourself to get canceled. No press is bad press. The difference for him is that it wasn't just bad press. It was a bad judgment. He's going to go broke, but otherwise he's probably
because he's getting
viewership now.
Well, because he's getting sued like crazy right now, isn't he?
Which only brings more eyes that didn't know you or want to see how it plays out. If it wasn't for him losing all the money, he would actually be doing even better because there's no such thing as bad press. I've learned that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true. I just figured. I mean, things were really bad with Alex Jones for a while, like really bad. Like, because didn't he get into like talking about? He was like talking about some effed up stuff. Like, I don't even want to get into it what he was talking about, but like. You know what I mean? Like, I thought stuff was so bad.
It's funny because I used to listen to him, not because I like believed any of his shit, but when I was bored and I was driving, I would put on his shit because I just found it entertaining in some cases. Like, because I understood that it was a sensationalist thing and it was whatever. But it's kind of like, you know, you watch a dystopian future movie, right? Like you know it's not true. You know that that's not really going to happen. But like you kind of like it's entertaining. That's how I used to do it. But then after first Obama got elected, and then it started moving on, and then it really he really went like I was like, okay, I don't even want to listen to this shit because it's gone from crazy conspiracy theories to like outright just wild shit that
bro, think about this. Like, it's so like we were just talking about this a little bit, like the detachment of like the actual social side of life for a kid, and you said like, oh, do you want to play Fortnite instead of playing street hockey? Well, I mean, think about it from a content creator's perspective at that scale. I mean, literally the more rage baitier things you say, then your views just go up. And when you're looking at your views on the back end of your, I don't know, of your creator dashboards of anything, and all of a sudden these crazy headlines, these crazy thumbnails, and these crazy topics that you're covering, all of a sudden views are just going crazy. And then, you know, CPMs are what they are. I have that
problem as a streamer because when you are the top of a specific niche, like in his case, the niche was like the conspiracy, like whatever, and my niche is like stocks, right? Like you have a responsibility. People look to you as the authority, whether you have it or
as a thought leader. Someone that's
a leader is a word of authority, but so you are the thought leader, and people look at you, and a lot of people will take what you say at face value because they say, okay, everyone's watching him for a reason. He must know what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. They sit around long enough, they just start to absorb it, and they start to be like, okay, and they just kind of get that echo chamber, right? And when you're in a niche and there's no other opposing or other players in that ball, you are the one, so you become that thing. and you get a great level of responsibility. And I've had times where I've had to question that. Like when GameStop happened, I could have ran with the GameStop narrative. I could have ran the meme stops. I could have ran with the narrative of this is the big guy fucking over the little guy and that just keep holding and we're going to squeeze it. I could have done that and kept my views up for a long time, but I couldn't because I knew I would only be hurting people. Same thing when NFTs came around and other things and the sponsorships, a lot of shady crypto and NFT sponsorships and stuff like that. I knew I could make a bag, but at the same time, I knew I had a responsibility. And I just, maybe it's just because I haven't got to the point where I'm ready to call it quits and just take the bag. But I was like, I can't. I have to stay, you know, myself. Same reason I've never sold a course. Like because I do it live and I have a reputation, everything like that. If I sold a trading course at $300 a month or $1,000 a course, I would be a multimillionaire overnight. I would, because I have that ability, because I own that space and I have everyone's trust. So they would say, well,
you have the audience
doing
that,
it, then it must be true.
Yeah, what you're talking about is you have that audience that views you as a thought leader, and you're just talking about simple conversion. You're just saying, hey.
Yeah, but I'm talking about with Alex Jones, same thing. When he became that leader in that niche, he starts going off the rail. The problem is that people don't just start tuning him out thinking, oh, he's crazy. They start going in with him, right? And then, then they start telling people, then the sensational headlines get there. It brings more views. And here's the thing. The reason no press is bad press is 100,000 people might find out about some viral thing that have never seen you before. And 95,000 of them might think you're crazy, you're an idiot, and you should be canceled. But that's 95,000 people who didn't know you before, so you didn't lose anything. But of that, maybe 5,000 people actually start following you. And guess what? It's a net gain. You could have 95% of people hate your fucking guts, and you still come out net positive.
Which I can't believe, just in general, man. Like, I know we live in this internet world, but I just can't believe how many people, and I see this on Twitter all the time, are just like, they read a headline and they say, oh, I have my full opinion on this person. Like, I know everything I need to know about this person. I hate their guts forever.
They're just regurgitating someone else's opinion that they believe, and now they think, oh, that's my opinion.
But we're talking about the echo chambers, man. It's just like all these people just, and it becomes this volatile, like Twitter, bro, like, I don't know what to. Elon Musk keeps saying that Twitter usage is way up and that everybody's using Twitter.
And
it
is up right now.
And, you know, it's way up. And then you have all these other people that say, oh, Twitter's dying. Like people are, you know, going to start leaving the platform, and they start threatening to leave the platform.
All the people who are talking about Twitter dying are engaging on Twitter.
On Twitter. And doing it on Twitter, bro. And I'm like, you know what I mean? It's just like, at some point, can people just calm the fuck down, bro? Like, is that possible? Or is it, are we just...
And the crazy thing is that I end up having to, and I don't talk personal politics on my show, but I end up having to defend shit that I don't want to defend, because it's like, I hear people say, oh, they're going to let all the fascists on the platform. And I'm like, what's your definition of a fascist? Someone says something you don't agree with, you think they should be banned and you should be off the platform. And I'm like, maybe they're horrible people. Maybe they have terrible opinions and stuff like that. But do we just silence them because we don't like them? And then the thing is that these same people are the people who fucking lose their shit if they're silenced or they're not allowed to protest or something like that. It's such a fucking, I hate it. And I hate it. I don't want to defend fucking, you know, people that are anti-Semitic or people that are spreading misinformation. I don't want to defend those people.
Can't you just be someone that says, hey, I like some democratic things, and hey, but
I have to defend those people in some ways. And it sounds bad, but the thing is that if I don't defend them, who's going to defend me when it's my turn to get whatever, right? Let's say there's something I think is normal. Like you know,
they came for you know, X, and I said nothing. They came for Y, and I said nothing.
My grandfather and the Colin Kaepernick thing, where I had to tell him, stop being, you know, well, I can't believe he's kneeling. They should fire him. They should get rid of him. They should ban him from the NFL because he's kneeling down and shitting on the veterans and all that. I'm like, why the fuck are you defending? You are speaking for the veterans. I'm like, if anything, right, as a veteran, a combat veteran who fought in a war, and even though I don't believe in the whole, like, all veterans are, you know, we're the reason for the freedom and shit like that, because a lot of proxy bullshit wars. But I said to him, if anything, I'm happy he's doing that, or I'm supporting him for doing it. Maybe I don't support his message, but I support him because that's the whole fucking point of fighting. Like, the whole point of being a veteran is to fight so people can do that.
Yeah, why? Didn't Thomas Jefferson say, I may not agree? I don't know who said this. Maybe Thomas Jefferson. I could be way wrong. He said, I may not agree with what you say, but I'll defend to your death or to my
It's
death, you're
something
right to
similar
say
to
it.
that. The idea is you're saying that he's shitting on all the soldiers, but no, the soldiers went and did that, so he could do that. That's the whole fucking point. Like,
Yeah, this is the whole point.
And that's why I get so sick of it. And I've decided, instead of trying to change people's mind of anything, I'm just going to speak my piece, stay in my lane, give them my opinion, and move on. Because it is that world now where it's like, let me just give my thing. And I feel like I have that responsibility to just be direct, give facts, have some fun, make some dark humor, and move on.
And at the end of the day, I mean, you have a, let's say, like, let's talk about it's like you and your, because you're at the top of your category on Twitch. Like, when you are viewed as, like, you know, a thought leader in that space, whatever the authority, you know, of that space would be, I feel like the most value add to society for someone like you would be, hey, just promote diversity of thought at the end of the day. Just realize what makes a productive sort of problem solving exercise or experience is hearing a lot of different angles from a lot of different people and a lot of different viewpoints, and being able to do it without getting triggered either way. You know, let's say you're
triggered, but I don't get triggered because people disagree with me. I get triggered because of the way they say it, and then I get to roast the shit out of them because it's my show and I can just
actually don't think you get triggered. I don't think you get triggered. I think
I don't get triggered. It's all a fucking act.
Exactly. You're creating content. It is what it is.
I love to be able to roast the shit out of somebody and utilize that as a moment. You know,
but you know what that is? You know what that is? You're hanging out with your buddies. One of them says some dumb shit thing, and then you roast the fuck out of them, and everyone laughs, and it's the same shit. It's the same, like, foundational logic. It's just like, hey,
but I'm not hanging out with buddies. I'm hanging out with a stranger who decided to come into my buddy group, say some shit that was fucking. They thought that was gonna get laughs, and instead they got fucking shit on, and that is what's better. You know what? Honestly, without being a fucking psychoanalyzing myself, I think a lot of it also had there's a good feeling that comes in there because I was bullied so much in my life, partially because I grew up without parents in a children's home and all this other shit, and my birthmark when I was a kid, all that stuff, right? Like, I got bullied a lot, but then I also got bullied a lot later on, or like got outcast because I wanted to be liked. So I started making up shit, which made people dislike me even more, right? And so I was the one who was always the butt of jokes. And so now I get to be that person, but I do it in a way where I also hug the person at the end, right? You know?
Wait, hold on. You say you feel like you're kind of bullying a little bit? Like you want to, like you're kind of moving into bully territory? I don't think you're
No, not bullying. Bullying is where you hurt someone else because a lot of times bullies, and I've learned this, everybody's learned this, a lot of times the bullies when you were younger did it because they themselves were bullied, and it was the only way they could take some kind of control in their life, right? Like they were, right? I don't feel that way. What I like to do is I like to just roast the shit out of somebody, especially when they're coming at me in a shitty way, because here's the thing. I have the audience, I have the visual and the sound. They can only type, and I can read what they say. I can destroy them and then just ignore them, and they just no one's listening to them, and that's the best feeling in the world.
It's hilarious. It's a weird like level of like, we'll get into football debates, you know, on my stream. We'll get into football debates and like whatever it kind of ends up being, like whatever my opinion is. Hey, I get to just say it, and if you don't think that this person's good, but I think he's good, and I'm just the only one talking. And no one's really listening to the, you know, whoever else, because all you're doing is typing. But on the flip side, if you ever are in a stream and you're hanging out and you get into, like, I get into, dude, I talk about football all the time, you know that. And like, if I'm ever, you know, seeing whoever's on and I'm like, oh, what's up, man? I saw the Bucks lost. I know you're a Bucks fan. And then they start spouting off. I feel as powerless in that situation as what you're describing. It's just like, man, damn it. Whoever's on the screen is GD right, because they have the goddamn microphone, bro.
Yeah, I don't watch a lot of Twitch, but sometimes I'll roll into a Twitch stream and somebody was saying something about stocks or the money, and I'll be like,
yeah, you're on the flip.
But they either don't see me or they see me, they don't care, and they go, and I'm like losing myself. Like, that is the worst fucking take ever. That's not how that works. But what am I gonna do? You know?
Yeah, that's it on the flip side, bro. And I don't know. I just, you know, the Alex Jones. I'm just thinking back to how we got here. Just thinking back to that Alex Jones conversation. It's just like at some point, you know, there's got to be some, you know, you're so detached from society. Even in that moment, you're detached from the person that you're arguing with. There's just such a lack of a social side to it. And I think about Ozzy, my 4-month-old, and I'm like, man, how can I promote, you know, playing in the streets, like getting out there and doing that? Because this detachment of like interaction with other people, it just can't be healthy. Over scale, over time, it can't be healthy. I'll tell you how you can. I'll tell you how you can. This is what I've been doing, and I've seen the fruition now. Don't put on the TV. Don't do those things. Take them outside.
find them, explore with them. I walk with her and we go to the flowers and we point and she knows, she speaks full sentences. She knows how to say fucking xylophone. She's not even 2. She looked at the screen. She goes, xylophone. I'm like, what the? But we go out and I'll be like, look, pink flower. And she'll be like, oh, daddy pick, or daddy, you know, daddy get. Well, let me have one. She'll take it and then she'll smile and whatever. We'll look at it and then we'll go to the lizards and I'll just walk with her and I'll wait till she points something out and we'll go and we'll talk about it. And she'll say, you know, if she doesn't understand something, she'll point, she'll go, huh? And then she'll learn the name of it. And then we do that. And then she just loves it. Now we have the ducky park and she says, let's go to ducky park. So I take her to the park and we feed the ducks and this stuff. And it's just, I try to not force her to do stuff. I try to kind of like point her in the right direction and then find what she likes and kind of explore that. And her favorite thing is to be outside. She loves to be outside.
Such an advantage living in South Florida, bro. You get to just parent outside all year round, man. You get to just go outside.
What do you mean? You just get there's goddamn. Have you ever been outside in Florida? Number one, it's either too fucking hot, it's raining, or there's goddamn crazy people everywhere. So it's not exactly easy. It's like playing the goddamn.
I like how you don't
outside.
mention the gators or anything like that. You mentioned just the crazy people. Like you just
I'm
the
not
crazy
worried about
Floridians.
the gators. I carry a gun.
Yeah, I know, but you got gators around you, bro. Like you got people. Like my brother lives near you, like 10 minutes, 5 minutes away, and like he was talking about gators just on people's doorsteps in his neighborhood because they just moved down there. And he's just like, oh, gators on people's doorsteps, like just like
we live kind of close to the Everglades, so yeah, it's a little bit. There's a little bit more.
That's
but
what I mean.
My problem is the iguanas, man. And my daughter loves them. But when I went to the HOA meeting, my first one, they're talking about it. I was like, they're like, we don't know what to do to get rid of them. I said, I'll tell you what, I got you. You want to get rid of them? You come to Stocky. I got you.
He said,
I get rid of them.
He's parked outside
iguanas.
the GMC. Don't worry about him.
Goddamn, I got my AR-15 right now. Boy, I tell you what, I'll give him a little nod before I go postal on the motherfuckers. Talking about the iguanas.
He hasn't shaved in 3 weeks. He's got a black, you know.
I shaved last night just because I put the wrong setting on, and I went. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, I gotta follow through now.
Hey, this came and went, and I didn't get to talk to you at all about it. It was big in the news, and that's part of why I feel like we're in a trough right now as far as the news cycle. We'll get another valley, I'm sure, or a peak soon, but we're in the valley of it right now. So the whole FTX, SBF, the whole thing.
This is good for clickbait title.
The
Go ahead.
whole thing, bro. We didn't talk about it. This is a month without recording, month and a half without recording. So I'm sure on stream you were talking about it endlessly, and people were asking you about it. But at the end of the day, I was thinking about you because you always say the best part about crypto is the worst part about crypto, that it's unregulated. However, in this situation, it was an exchange that was dealing with people's cash.
Yeah, it's not the crypto. It's the exchanges that did it this time.
Yeah. So obviously it's different. It's not a hey, someone like those. There was all those crypto coins that would like pop up. And then like people would invest in it, and then like it would shut down, and people would just take the cash and run, like $3 million, whatever, a couple of millions of bucks. They just take it and run, and there's really no legal recourse for that. I mean, crypto's unregulated, so you always say that all the time. But like in this moment for the exchange, how much time did you spend talking about it whenever it was popping off?
I mean, I talk about it a little bit, but I'm also very honest and very open about things. I say that, I may know, it seems like I'm an expert in everything. I'm not. I'm just, I know a lot about a lot of different things. I'm just, but there's a lot of things that I don't know a lot about, and I'm not an expert in. And the crypto space, not only am I not an expert, nobody's a fucking expert, because crypto is a new concept and nobody really knows what's going to happen. Yeah. So the more someone tries to convince you they're an expert in it, the more full of shit they are. But what I do say is that I don't follow, the whole crypto space and everything nearly enough to give an educated opinion. So actually the whole time when people ask me, I say, guys, I'm going to be real with you. And I know it's tough to do this in front of your audience, especially when you're considered that leader, right? That thought leader. But I've been telling them, I don't know enough about crypto or these exchanges to give you a good educated answer. There are people out there that are way more qualified than me. That's what I said. Now, I did keep up with it, and I do understand what happened and how it happened. Is basically, that there's a lot of conspiracies going on too, and some of them are true, some of them aren't. There is a weird connection between Sam Bankman-Fried and
the Democratic
Gensler, the SEC chair. Hold on, before we get to that, he and the SEC chair, who were kind of like doing a lot of meetings together, the SEC chair, Gensler, used to work at MIT as a math professor. Well, the president of the math department at MIT's daughter is the girl who was in the weird girl that was in charge of Alameda, who was banging SBF.
Oh, bro, that's nuts. I didn't know that.
Yep. So
I didn't know that was a connection
he was
there.
friends with the SEC chairman. That's why you didn't see a lot of regulation, a lot of stuff going down. Remember, he was always in Congress testifying?
So the SEC chairman's daughter was on the board
SEC chairman, before he was at the SEC, was a tenured math professor at MIT.
Okay.
The president of the math department of MIT, his old boss, right? His old boss's daughter is the girl who was Alameda's CEO.
Okay. She was...
And basically, SBF was banging her and a bunch of other people. They were all banging each other in this.
Well, because Alameda was just a hedge fund, right?
Basically, they were just basically the one who provided the liquidity and the exchanges, right? Like the trades, everything. And they were given money from them to prop them, to keep them under wraps with them. So like they were in cahoots with each other. They were basically working for each other. And, they were giving liquidity or sorry, not giving liquidity. They were basically guaranteeing the liquidity of their customers, but instead of having cash on hand, they were using their own tokens. So FTX was like, hey, we're going to use these FTT tokens as our reserves to back up these customers, transactions.
It seems to me that they just
it's basically an IO meet. You're basically just like, I'll pay myself later.
It basically, the exchange, the fundamentals of the exchange seem like they're fine, but that's if you don't view the liquidity as risk capital and then go out and try to turn it into more, which is sad. That to me is what they...
But when you're backing something up with your own fucking creation, and it looks like that goes to zero, where is your backup?
But it was only backed up. How can you? But what I don't understand is that let's say Alameda didn't exist. Would FTX been able to just succeed and keep going?
Probably not, because they needed that separate arm there to handle all of that, right? Like that's their job. They handle this. They've got their own name. It's a separate entity, but technically under the same umbrella.
So Alameda did all of the investing, and
Alameda did the actual
trading.
They did the trading, right? And they were backed by FTX, as FTX was like the liquidity provider.
Okay, but then all of it was just basically based on their own.
But it was basically off of their own FTT token rather than some other form of not that cryptocurrencies themselves are like hard assets that you can back up, but instead of like a real coin, they're backed up by their own fucking coin that they made up, which means that if there's a run on this and Alameda needs fucking liquidity, where are they going to get it from? Dude, they don't have any liquidity. What are they going to print more of their own coins? Like, what are they going to do?
I don't know where we go from here. I don't understand crypto.
We don't go anywhere. We can't go anywhere. You want to know why? Because he gave so much goddamn money to those politicians. He got a kiss blown to him by people. Forgot about that when he testified about how this is, they need this help from Congress and all this and why it's so good. When Maxine Waters, whatever her name is, who's in charge of that committee, blew him a kiss on his way out from the hearing. And now this month they're gonna have a hearing with him, and guess who's leading that hearing?
That same Maxine
Waters.
Who knows, man? At this point,
what are they gonna do? They can't take him down. He has too much fucking money that he gave to them.
Yeah, I mean, when you're dealing with billions, I mean, do we really expect though that when I say we, I mean the royal we, the general public. Does the general public really expect that a billionaire is going to get served actual justice in real time? Is that, you know what I mean? Real justice, whatever that might be.
Because what happened was the only way he's going to go down is if really rich, really well-connected people lose money. Remember, in the 2008 crisis, there was only one person who went to jail. That was Bernie Madoff. Because what did Bernie Madoff do that the other people didn't? He fucked over wealthy and connected people. You can fuck over and destroy the lives of poor people or regular people. No one gives a fuck. But the moment you go after people that have power, influence, and capital, that's when you're in trouble. So as long as he can Ponzi scheme and take whatever liquidity he can find or get or loans from somebody to pay those people off, then he'll be fine. But if for some reason names get dropped, fortunes are lost, or people get fucked over with a lot of money, that's where he's screwed. And because he's a young, innocent looking, nerdy looking guy, it'll be easier to use him to make him the sacrificial lamb. Yeah.
And so there was the FTX, SBF deal, but then there was also, I would say, since the last time we talked, the other thing that has been dominating the news is anything and everything that Elon Musk just does. Like if Elon Musk does something, it's just everybody just wants to talk about it. I feel like he's the new Trump. Like he's at the point.
Can I be honest with you? Can I be honest with you about that? I know I'm jumping ahead of you here, but as much as I I'm not a Eli fan. I mean, not Eli. I'm thinking of Eli Manning. I'm not a Elon Musk fan. Okay, not per se. Like I think that he's really good at what he's done. I think there's a lot, but I'm not a fanboy. Like I'm not gonna defend him no matter what or like that. But can I be honest with you? As much as I disagree with a lot of things he says and I hate a lot of things that he does, damn well if we were worth $120 billion, we'd be a fucking troll too, because no one can stop you. You could do whatever the fuck you want, and people have to listen to you, and we would be trolling too. I feel like
I can't refute that. Listen, I can't refute that. But what I could definitely tell you is there's probably like, if you had 120 billion, there's probably like I would say ballpark, maybe like 20 people out there that you don't want to piss off. And as long as you have about 20 people that you're not trolling and you're even keel with them, yeah, at that point you could literally troll everybody in the world and get away with it. And
but he's at that point where he doesn't care because he's beyond the repercussions of personal safety and family safety, as long as he doesn't whatever, because he's at that level. He's got such a spotlight that nothing can happen to him because then because nobody wants the attention, right? So he's at that point of being quote unquote untouchable, right? He's never gonna have to worry about losing all his money. He never has to worry about repercussions physically or danger. He doesn't have to worry about it. At this point, he's bored. And the thing is that when you get that rich, you get bored. You need to find new things. You can only go out to so many restaurants. You can only fly to so many countries. You can only go on so many vacations. You can only see so many fucking art shows until you're just fucking bored. And that's why these really rich people buy the weird fucking the only painting or the only this out there, because they want something different. They get bored. And I know it's I'm not defending rich people, but that's the truth. When you're that rich, you just run out of, there's nothing excites you anymore. That's why
you can't spend all day with your kid. Your kid doesn't want to hang out with you all day. Kid wants to hang out with their friends.
That's not what I'm talking about. Well, when you're that rich, there's nothing that excites you anymore because you've done everything, right? Going to space. Why do you think Bezos went up there, right? Like it's something that's different that other people can't do. You've done everything. And I don't mean everything is in your bubble. I mean in the world. There's nothing. You've been to every safari, you've dove with the sharks, you've jumped out of planes, you've done the Great Wall of China. You've done everything. So you've got to do something else. In his case, this is what it is.
99%
he wants to be excited.
99% of what you just said I agree with. The 1% I disagree with is the restaurants. Food, you'll never get bored of food. Always go to an exciting new restaurant that pops up. Always go check.
You're not a billionaire.
Of course I'm not. If there's a cool restaurant, I'm lucky to go. It's been 4 months.
When you have that kind of money, you have dined at the best restaurants in the best views of everything. And at some point, that just gets boring.
Ain't no way
sure, the food's
gets
still
bored,
good,
bro.
But the idea of going to the restaurant, sitting down, ordering, getting served, having the fucking, that's what I'm talking about. The experience. You're bored of it. I'm not saying you're bored of food. Like obviously you're gonna enjoy your food if you can, and you're gonna hire the different chefs and stuff like that. But that's a momentary thing in your life. That's not the rest of it. Like you wake up in your mansion and you have every car, every painting. You've gone to everything. You've done everything. There's nothing else to look forward to.
There's this Italian restaurant that we went to a few months ago. It's the only Italian restaurant we went to since Ozzy's been born. And they had this penny pasta with this spicy red, crushed red pepper marinara and like shrimp that was grilled in there. And I got that. And I'm excited about it now, just thinking about it. What is it?
Shrimp and pasta do not go together.
No, shrimp goes with anything.
I'll eat it, but I would never order a pasta with shrimp in it.
Have you gotten a shrimp quesadilla?
I've had shrimp quesadilla, blackened shrimp quesadilla.
Oh, that's so good. And shrimp goes with anything. Shrimp goes with.
But you know what's better? You know what the best fish that I've learned, and this is going to be a hot take, but I think grouper is the best fucking fish to go into Mexican, either tacos or in quesadillas. I love grouper in there, spiced grouper.
I'm gonna have to try that. I haven't tried grouper.
Like I've had mahi, I've had flounder, I've had tuna, I've had all that shit. But grouper, man, is so good in a fucking taco.
Cod.
But no,
codfish is
no.
good.
My favorite Italian dish. There was a restaurant in South Beach. It might still be there. It was called Bani Vino. It was a tiny little Italian restaurant, and like every time I'd call in there as a concierge, I'd be like, "Hey Mario, it's Jason. Hey Jason. Yeah, they make out the spot for you." You know, like he was like real Italian, right? And the owners were there, and they would do that thing like they would bring the giant wheel of cheese and like put the hot pastas like that. But they made these little mini pastas that was like little bags, right? And it was covered with pear, right? Like marinated pear and that old like super aged Italian Parmesan cheese.
Okay.
And and they made all the pasta from scratch. You watch them in the window of the restaurant make the pasta
had
from scratch,
pear
right?
and cheese on it.
No, it was like it was wrapped inside the pasta, right?
Oh, okay,
There was like a little thing here. There was a piece of pear, like
In
a
it
nice
with
like
cheese?
marinated pear,
Whoa.
and a piece of aged Parmesan. They would wrap that up, right, and then steam it and cook it, and then give it to you, and you would bite into it. And there was this sweet pear and this aged sharp cheddar, and I was like I'm getting chills.
That
thinking
sounds
about
like
it.
an Italian dumpling. You know what that sounds like an Italian dumpling.
There's no such thing. If there's anybody who's Italian who reads this, please, if you listen to this, do not comment. He does not mean what he says.
What, me?
There's no such thing as an Italian dumpling.
I'm saying it sounds like something that I would describe as an Italian dumpling.
Just stop, okay? Because
Listen,
next thing you know, you're going to come out here and
Italian.
say that ragu is a great pasta sauce, okay? And
Listen, I will eat any red sauce. I don't discriminate.
He's a man. He's talking to the pizza.
I discriminate against no
He doesn't even
red
use the crushed potatoes.
sauce.
Tomatoes. I cannot believe this. My grandma's rolling over in the grave. She says, you use a ragu. Ragu isn't even what we clean the floors with, you know? I just became an Indian Italian at the same time.
This was episode 37 of the podcast, guys. The Stock Guy and Alex Show, the return show. And we're right at an hour. It flew by. Next week, Thursday. Thursdays are our new recording days because Stocky is getting his ass kicked 5 times a week right now.
I pay somebody a lot of money to kick my ass. Isn't that interesting?
He has doubled down, bro. You've doubled down on your health and your fitness.
Look at that, baby.
Hey, is that a Crown? Is that a Crown Channel shirt?
I don't know. I grabbed it. I was sweating through shirts at TwitchCon, so I just grabbed one for everybody.
Okay, because I was going to say, how did you get it? Like, are you working with the Crown Channel? Like, what do they got you doing? Man, look at you. Look at Stocky. Everyone, round of applause in the comment section for Stocky. You know, taking care of himself. Oh my God. All right, there we go. Episode 37. Hey, listen.
Well, you don't want me to,
on your stream,
do the whole thing? I'll try
on your on your stream, you don't show nipples. Right there, there was a little bit of nipple showcase.
Here you go. I'll make sure I don't show nipple.
There it goes. There goes the shirt, guys. Everyone, this was episode 37 of the Stock Guy and Alex Show, the podcast covering topics around the world, business news, markets, money, sports. If people are talking about it, then so are we. Guys, follow the show on all the socials and watch and listen on the other platforms. If you're watching on YouTube, guys, make sure you listen on Spotify when you're in the car. If you're listening on Spotify, guys, go to the YouTube and watch, because right now you can see Stocky with no shirt on. All right, Stocky, anything for all the homies before we get them up on out of here?
Yeah, listen, I got one thing to say. I don't do rants anymore, but I got to say this. It's really bright in here. I got to say this real quick. Listen, we don't need fucking hall monitors in the hall on the highway, okay? You're not a fucking highway vigilante, all right? If you're in the fast lane, all right, and you see people behind you and you're going, the whole idea of, well, I'm doing the speed limit, so maybe they just need to slow down. I'm not doing anything wrong. It's get the fuck over, okay? You're not doing anything. You don't have any authority here. You're not doing anyone a favor. You're not a fucking hall monitor. You're not a fucking highway vigilante. Get the fuck over, okay? Because what you do is you end up getting these people that are trying to go. Now they have to get over a lane, which then slows this lane down, and those people are getting over there, which slows that lane down. And now there's 6 miles of fucking traffic, and I have to get there 10 minutes late because you want to be like, yep, I'm doing a speed limit. I can be here. There's nothing against this. You know what? Fuck you.
Have a great week, guys. We'll see you next weekend. One love, everybody. Bye-bye.